Welcome to In the Community with Tiffany K.
And we're back with In the Community. I'm Tiffany K. And today I have a familiar face in here and then an unfamiliar face. So we're going to get to that. But first off, Carleigh is back, the communications manager of Friends of the Rappahannock. Carleigh, how are you today?
I am well. How are you?
I am good. Excited to have you back to talk about river safety today because it is getting that season.
It is.
And you brought a friend in.
I did. So I brought Kelsey Bracewell. She works at ACA. And so the American Canoe Association, and she's going to be able to be our expert to talk about river safety.
Excited. Well, thank you so much for coming in, Kelsey.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me.
Of course, excited to have you here. Now, before we get into all things river safety, I want to know what's going on with Friends of the Rappahannock. What updates do we need to hear?
Yeah, so Friends of the Rappahannock, we're still plugging away. We're trying to, advocate for the river. We just finished our planting season, and we planted thousands and thousands of trees.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. So super exciting. And we're starting to slow down, go into our summer camps, which there are a few spots left. So check out our website if you're interested in a summer camp.
Okay.
But yeah, so we're moving from that into our education programming for the summer, and just super excited to, have another season on the river.
This is going to be a lot of fun, especially because we've had some great weather days. We've had some rain here and there, but I think it's going to be a good summer either way.
It will. We're super excited.
And what are some of the camps, if you know off the top of your head, or where can people go to find those? Because we were talking about it before, how they fill up quickly.
Yeah, so there are still a few slots left in our camps. We have some Upper Rappahannock camps, so those are in Fauquier and Culpeper counties.
Okay.
And those are, you can find them on our website, riverfriends.org. There's a button right when you first open the website, so you should be able to easily find that. And then also we have some here in Fredericksburg where we have our beautiful nature preserve. So we have an all-girls camp, which still has, I think, 2 or 3 slots left.
Ooh.
So that's an all-girls day camp with 1 overnight. It's for 7th through 9th grade girls.
Okay.
And really just to get girls outside and doing things. And then we also have a crow's nest camp, and so that's going to be lots of kayaking, lots of paddle boarding, and amazing education programming.
So everything we're going to talk about today with river safety is going to apply to all of that.
Oh, certainly. For sure.
Awesome. Well, that website one more time.
riverfriends.org.
Awesome. Well, make sure you get your kids signed up for this summer. And we're going to move a little bit away from Friends of the Rappahannock because I want to talk with Kelsey all about ACA. So can you tell me a little bit about the ACA, how it was founded, and what it does for the community?
Yeah, of course. Well, it's a pleasure to be here again. And the ACA, the American Canoe Association, was actually founded way back when in 1880.
Wow.
And
a little old there.
Just a little. But yes, we're a national nonprofit, and we also have members and partner organizations in, I think, 50 other countries. So it's a pretty big organization. But the cool part is that there's only one headquarters, and it's right here in Fredericksburg.
Oh, wow. Okay. So how did it end up getting to Fredericksburg then? Because it's like you said, a national organization. You always wonder how that happens.
Yeah. How did you choose here?
Yes.
Well, the ACA is dedicated to all things paddling, not just canoes, but kayaks and stand-up paddle boards and rafts and pack rafts and river rescue and all other, paddle-related sports, right? And so a while ago, a local gentleman named Bill Mix, some of y'all might be familiar, he was on the ACA's board of directors, and because of his deep love of the Rappahannock River and everything that the Fredericksburg community has to offer, he advocated for us to move our office here to just play a bigger role in this community. And down the line, that's how it worked out between the city, between Bill and his connections here.
Oh, that's amazing. So where would people see in the community the ACA out and about right now?
Yeah, well, our office is down on William Street, so right in the heart of downtown.
Okay.
But you'll see us very soon here on Saturday, June the 1st, at the 42nd annual Great Rappahannock Whitewater Canoe Race. That's where you'll find us next, right at Old Mill Park.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've had the pleasure of racing in it and also attending and helping out and volunteering for the past 13 years or so.
Wow.
But it just gets better and better every year as more new people learn about it. Of course, you'll see some of the habitual participants who come year after year. We've had people come from surrounding states
wow.
fight for their titles and, to, of course, just meet and collab with all of their friends who have been coming, meet some new people, enjoy coffee and snacks and awards and music and just hanging out, in the park.
That's
It's
amazing
such a great time.
Yeah, and it's a great way to meet new people in the community that maybe you haven't met yet, but who also have a similar passion.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Kelsey, I wanted to ask you, how did you get involved with the ACA?
Gosh, well, way back when I became a certified instructor with the ACA. So for those who don't know, the ACA is the national certifying body for people who want to teach and instruct in canoeing, kayaking, rafting, those sorts of things. And so not only do we develop curriculum and the presentation thereof, but we also design a lot of other similar, complementary public outreach and educational resources, just like Friends of the Rappahannock does, but they're just not localized. They're for anybody everywhere.
Okay.
And again, I'm an outdoorsy. I'm an outdoor loving person. I love the river. I love the trails, all of those things. And so I became a kayak instructor. And that eventually led me to work at the ACA. But, of course, at the time when I became certified, I didn't know everything that there is to know about ACA or even where the office was at that time.
Right.
But I think it's a really beautiful way to kind of literally go from the ground up, or the groundwater up, if you will, to be hands-on, to really be in the mission of the ACA, which is, of course, just paddling access to people all over the place, whatever craft or whatever waterway you pick.
Oh, wow. Well, I love that story because I didn't know that you could become certified there. And so for other people who may be interested, they can look into that as well and get that information, correct?
Yeah, well, the beautiful thing that I think about ACA is almost like an upside down triangle. People who see a lake, see the ocean, see a pond, see the river, and they just want to get in and experience that, be on it or in it, amongst it, whatever word you prefer. But there's so many avenues that you can go in the world of paddle sports. Of course, education and instruction, working with children and families, that's one way you could go. But ACA is also the national governing body for the Olympic and Paralympic canoe and kayak and para-canoe sports. And so we have a whole other arm of the organization that is athletic performance and high competition. I think this year, of course, summer 2024 is the Paris Olympics, and we're sending 8 athletes to the Olympics and Paralympics this year. So
really?
That's a whole nother amazing place you can go.
Yeah, that's amazing.
People use paddling to go sightseeing, to go birding, to go fishing, right? There are some people that use it just as a social exercise, go with friends and family. Some people go for exercise, or just to experience the wonders of nature. So there's so many different ways that you can get out on the river and enjoy it.
And anybody can get involved, correct? It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter at all. Whichever amount of experience that you have, interest you have, shape, size, kids, dogs, anything that you have, there's a way for you to get out there and enjoy.
So is there a website for people to go to get more information about the ACA?
Yeah, that would be americancanoe.org.
Now, we were just talking about getting involved, even if you have no experience with this, which is going to lead us a little bit into river safety, boat safety. I know May is a really important month in your world. It's Boater Safety Month. So what does this entail?
Yeah, so Boater Safety Month is really a month that's, I want to say ordained, but it's made to have us share and raise awareness about boater safety. There's a lot of dangers. There are drownings all the time, whether on the Rappahannock or other places, and many of those could be avoided by being a little bit safer.
Right.
And so I know Kelsey, has a lot of knowledge on that, but, at Friends of the Rappahannock, we really just want to bring awareness to the fact that, water can be dangerous. It's not this gentle, beautiful force all the time. And so with that, we really try to promote beginning of summer. It's starting to get warm out, really trying to encourage people to think through what they're going to be doing, how the water could affect them, what could happen while they're on the water before they even touch the water.
And it's a great way to, you can still have fun with it. That's the thing. You can still have fun, but you just want to be safe with it as well.
Exactly.
And so, Kelsey, I know Carleigh was just saying, a lot of the safety tips that you have for everybody, especially with the ACA. So what are some of the things that people need to be aware of before they go out on the river this year?
Yeah, and just like Carleigh said, there are a lot of inherent dangers that come with river, activities. However, taking some of these safety tips into consideration, you'll just have a more fun time, a more enjoyable time, make lasting memories, become more familiar with the river and cherish it, take care of it, and share it with other people. So that's our end goal here, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But again, Boater Safety Month is a perfect opportunity for everyone to become familiar with ways to just plan ahead and prepare. So that, just like Carleigh said, if something happens, it's not just drowning. It could be you accidentally lose your paddle or your boat or your stuff. You end up out there sunburned or dehydrated, or you just are stuck someplace and you have to be rescued, or you just spend far more time out there than you originally intended. And so I would say the number one safety tip for the Rappahannock in any river or body of water anywhere is wear your life jacket.
Yep. And we just had National Wear Your Life Jacket to Work Day.
We did. So we had that just a week ago or so.
Yeah.
And people wore their life jackets to work to promote, wearing your life jacket on the river, to start the conversation with others, to talk about wearing your life jacket. Life jackets can be fashionable. They can be cute. And everyone should use one.
Yeah. And I think that's the number one rule that we're going to walk away from this interview today, is to wear the life jacket, wear the life jacket, wear the life jacket. It doesn't matter if it's not fashionable. As you said, it can be. There's blue, pink, green characters. There's all kinds out there. And you can take your pictures, you can take your selfies for Instagram and still look good as you go out on the river. But it's a main way to stay safe. So that'd be the biggest rule to put out there, correct?
Yeah, well, not only have a life jacket, but actually wear it and wear it properly, right? So if it zips, zip it all the way. If it buckles, if it clips, whatever that might be, wear it that way, so that it actually stays on, when the time comes that you fall into the water. And you'll find a lot of people out there recreating on the river who have it, but are using it as a seat, using it as a seat cushion, or have it like strapped to the back of their boat or something else. But the problem with that is similar to, riding a bike and waiting to put your helmet on until you start to crash, or, not wearing your seatbelt and only thinking to put it on when you start to get in an accident, right? And so wear it all the time. And they make so many models, not only colorful, comfortable, good ventilation. They have pockets for gear, for your phone, for your keys, for whatever. So there's so many opportunities to wear that and to be safe. But as I said before, another really important thing is just planning ahead and preparing. Look at that weather forecast. Look at the USGS, the U.S. Geological Survey, which has different gauges and markers on the river to tell how much water is in there today versus yesterday. Because, of course, when it rains, not just here, but upstream, the water can raise here. And so you can see some on Fall Hill Avenue. You can see another down at City Dock. There's some green, yellow, red gauges that are put in, and that's pretty simple, like a stop light. Green, it's safe for recreational use. Yellow, the water's a little bit high and should only be used by experts. And then red is just, it's not safe for anybody. And you can also kind of tell by the water is muddy, it's full of debris. And just, if you can't see below that surface, you don't want to go and mess with that.
Okay. And those are good things to know. And you said they are downtown now by the Rappahannock as well.
Yeah, so there's all sorts of locations where you can see those specific markers. Like Kelsey said, they kind of look like a stoplight. You can see them from, the walking path or the road. But let's say you don't want to leave your house yet, and you're like, I really want to know what the water's doing, but I'm in my pajamas, and if it's not good, then I don't want to go. You can go on Friends of Rappahannock's website. We have a river cam. You can see one of those markers on our river cam and see what the river's looking like. Again, you should also look at the USGS,
of course,
prediction for what the water's going to do. NOAA also has a site, and we have those links on the same page as the, river cam. So feel free to check that out. But really, there's so many ways that you can check to be safe before you even get to the water.
And I'm speaking with Carleigh and Kelsey all about river safety because it is Boater Safety Month. So why is it this month was picked for boater safety, and why is it so important right now?
Well, I would say as the weather warms up, as the water looks more inviting, as kids start to have time off from school, that's when people are starting to remember this is a great resource in our community, and they get out there. But not everybody makes a big plan before they go. And so we think that boating safety, whether you're going out on a fishing boat, a rowboat, a kayak, a canoe, an inner tube, any other way that you're out there to float, make sure that you have a plan and that you tell somebody on land who's responsible what that plan is and what they should do if you don't come back at the time that you said.
I think that's a good point to put out there, telling somebody else who isn't on the river with you. You know, because you could be out there with your friends and you're having a good time, but then something happens. And then, unfortunately, there's nobody there with a cell phone or something. So somebody knowing where you're going to be at, what time you're supposed to come back is a good idea.
It really is. I mean, you never know if there's going to be service in some of the places that you might go to recreate on the river. You might not have cell service. You might have left your phone in the car so it wouldn't get wet. There's plenty of reasons why you might not be able to immediately use that handy dandy cell phone to get help. And so having that support from a friend or someone else who might know how to deal with the situation is really helpful. I know there's a lot of different resources that ACA has to talk about, like, what should your friend do? You said, I'm going paddling. I will be back home at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. rolls around and you're not back home. What should your friend do? And so I know Kelsey has a lot of resources for, trainings and things like that available.
And what are some of those trainings that people can look into?
Yeah, well, so on the ACA's website, again, that's AmericanCanoe.org, we have different templates for this plan, which we call a float plan.
Okay.
When am I going? When am I leaving? Who's with me? What gear do we have with us? Do I have a red kayak and a blue canoe, or, what have you?
It sounds like all the questions your mom would ask before you would leave.
Yes, it's so similar to that, yes.
The questions that you ignored as a kid, and now you're like, wow, I
like,
should have paid attention.
Yes, exactly that. Oh, my goodness. And included in that plan, you could also list some of the local resources. Again, on the river, we have great engagement and representation from not only the Fredericksburg Rescue Squad, but Stafford. Sometimes you'll even find Spotsylvania, Prince William counties. There's lots of professionals out there dedicated to helping the community should they get into trouble. But also, your friends could just know, hey, where are the put-ins and the takeouts on this river where I can go to look for you?
Okay.
Right? And then, of course, we've talked about our community, not only our professional rescue teams, but also our community businesses and organizations like Friends of the Rappahannock, the Virginia Outdoor Center, River Rock Outfitter, the ACA, all sorts of people who know this is as our home river and can give you advice on to where to start if you're looking for somebody or you need help building this float plan.
Yeah, that's a great point, too. Don't automatically go just start looking for someone walking up and down the river, because you don't know what's going to happen for them and also what's going to happen for you, because you could get lost easily. You could get pulled into the river. It's making sure that everyone's aware of what's going on.
Yeah, it's very, very important. And I mean, we can't stress it enough. You can never over plan for a potential emergency. I mean, you really can't. Like Kelsey said, if you get sunburned, if you get dehydrated, things can go bad very quickly.
And those are the things that people don't think about.
Yeah.
You immediately think river, you're thinking drownings or being pulled under or getting lost or stuck somewhere, but not, as you said, sunburns, dehydration, just getting things lost into the river. How am I going to get it out? Certain things like that. So I think using those resources is very important. And that's the best way to proactively plan, right? Is to just ask an expert, go to those resources that you mentioned, Kelsey, and make that plan first.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking with Carleigh and Kelsey. It's all about river safety right now. So I wanted to go back on Life Vest for a second, because, we were talking about how they're unfashionable. And, maybe some people are like, I'm just a great swimmer. I don't need the life vest. Some people think it's just for kids, which is not true. What is your response to that?
Oh, I mean,
maybe I opened a can of worms over here.
I am a huge promoter of life vests. I'm, like we talked about, we had, wear your life jacket to work day. I'm the dork who wore it to the grocery store and everywhere. And I purposely did all my errands on that day just so I could have conversations with people about wearing their life jacket, because it's so essential. There's going to be the individuals who don't want to wear their life jacket because they're, 60 or 80 years old and said, I've been swimming without a life jacket for so long. Like, I totally know what I'm doing. I've been on this river my whole life. I know all the spots. But you don't. Like, the river is constantly changing. It's water. And so it's so important. I mean, for those people who say that, you want to, respond with, like, okay, but what if something were to happen and your family finds out that had you been wearing a life jacket, you there is so much more potential that you could have survived or not even had the situation because you were being careful.
Yeah.
And you hate to think that way.
Of
You hate
course.
to think that this life jacket, this, proactive plan is going to save your life, but it potentially could. And it's really important to have those things. So I don't know. Kelsey probably has a really great response too.
Oh, well, I actually own, I think, 6 life jackets.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
my goodness.
So you're good for every day of the week.
Yes, exactly. Different colors and styles. And what I'm planning on doing with it, I even have one that's a size larger for the winter when I have layers on.
Okay.
I mean, my point is, of course, I'm a personal fan as well. But something that may be a bit more relevant to you is that according to the U.S. Coast Guard, who keeps, accident and fatality statistics all year, every year, is that about 87% of people who were boating, so this is not only paddling, but just boating in general,
Right.
Who drowned, they weren't wearing a life jacket.
Wow.
And so that really does mean 9 times out of 10, this death could have been prevented by someone wearing a life jacket. Of course, it will float you. If the water's cold, it'll help you stay warmer and less affected by hypothermia in the beginning stages of that. But also, if you happen to be unconscious or very, very weak, it'll turn you face up in the water so that there's more time for people to come and assist you, pull you back into the boat, get you to shore, whatever that rescue may be. So again, that is a startling number, 87% of people who
And
drown.
correct me
while
if I'm
boating.
wrong, Kelsey, but I believe a lot of those are people who have life jackets on board their boat, but just aren't wearing them.
Exactly. So again, just like bicycle helmets and seat belts,
Yep.
you can have it, but if you don't use it, it's no good.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing to point. I mean, it's a great comparison. Your seatbelt, they say click it or ticket, for a reason. It's not just to restrict you, it's to make sure you're safe. All of these things are safety precautions. And that's what we're talking about today, river safety. Do you have any success stories or data to illustrate the impact of boater safety initiatives that are happening right now?
Yeah, so in 2020 we had a couple really unfortunate accidents in the river. We had a couple drownings, and I know that really pushed our community to promote river safety. We have quite a few high-use spaces in Fredericksburg between Old Mill Park and Falmouth Beach and a couple others that we really want everyone to be aware that life jacket usage shouldn't just be I don't know, I'll use it tomorrow type of thing. You should be using it every single time you enter the water. And since 2020, we've really been pushing this initiative, pushing this campaign of wearing your life jacket while in the river. If you're waiting, you should still have your life jacket. You never know when that, drop-off's going to happen.
Yep.
And so since then, we've definitely had less drownings than we've had in the past.
To hear that.
Yes, it is always great to hear. We've seen more people wearing life jackets. I know more of our rescue squads have been on the river talking to people, interacting with people, really promoting those life jackets, promoting river safety in general, being aware of what's going on, and having those conversations. I mean, that's what we're here to do today, is we're trying to spread awareness of wearing your life jacket.
Right.
So.
And how are ways for the everyday person to spread awareness of wearing their life jacket to other people? Maybe they're going on the river with friends and they don't have life jackets or ready to go, or they're saying, no, it's not fashionable. How can people spread that awareness to just keep it with you, keep it on, and make sure that you're safe?
Yeah, well, aside from wearing their own and setting that example for their friends and family, is knowing a couple places in town where you can get one if you don't have one. You could go to River Rock Outfitter. You can go to Friends of the Rappahannock or Virginia Outdoor Center, or even to ACA and get some local recommendations, or win one in a raffle, or, just get a local recommendation where you can go and buy one. And again, there's sometimes down at Old Mill Park that you can borrow from the loaner station. You just bring them back when you're done using it for someone else to use. There's a lot of different choices. And
There's even some at Walmart that are less than $20
Oh, wow.
for an adult. It is not expensive to get a life jacket. Your life is priceless. $20 is not a ton to spend on a cheap life jacket so you can keep your life.
Yeah. And you're not going in search of it like, oh, I can't find this. It's not hard to find either.
No.
As you mentioned multiple places as well.
We also have this really neat opportunity. like Kelsey mentioned, she has like 6 or 7 life jackets in her house. Maybe she's not using all of them. We're going to be doing this great opportunity where you can donate a used life jacket to Friends of the Rappahannock, and it will go to a family or a child who's in need of those, who might not be able to financially make the jump to purchase a life jacket.
Of course.
Maybe your kids grew out of one. So please feel free to bring those by. We're going to have a donation bin at Friends of the Rappahannock and a couple other locations that you can find on our website. And those, again, are going to go to people who potentially need them. Maybe you're just such a cool individual and you go out and buy a brand new life jacket and you drop that off. We really appreciate it. All of those life jackets will be available for some sort of tax-deductible donation from Friends of the Rappahannock. So please feel free to drop those off. We are trying to give some of those away before June 2nd.
Okay.
So if you drop them off beforehand, then some of those life jackets will get homes and help other kids get safe.
I'm speaking with Kelsey and Carleigh, talking about river safety. Now, I want to move on to some of the events coming up really quick as we kind of wrap it up here, because there's a lot of fun going on. Talk to me about Festival del Rio.
Yeah, so Friends of the Rappahannock is partnering with a bunch of different organizations, specifically Defensores de la Cuenca. They're a Latinx group that really promotes environmentalism, conservation, and river safety in that Latinx group, in that Latinx community. We find that community really comes to the river and gathers at the river during the summer months to fish, to recreate, to spend time with one another. And so we don't want language to be a barrier when it comes to river safety.
Of course.
So Friends of the Rappahannock has really tried to partner with a couple different organizations. Semilla Cultural, Defensores de la Cuenca, really do a great job of supporting our mission to spread awareness of river safety. So we have an event coming up on June 2nd that's going to be at Old Mill Park, and we're going to have learn to kayak there. We're going to have learn to fish for kids. We're going to have yummy food, music, different cultural experiences. I believe the Department of Wildlife Resources is going to be there to help teach kids how to fish.
Oh, wow.
We're going to have lots of really cool opportunities to spend, there having conversations about river safety, having conversations about different cultural experiences on the river. I mean, there's so much to do on the river, and it's such an amazing, opportunity. So definitely feel free to come out. It's free for everyone to attend, and there's more information on our website and Facebook. So,
well, Kelsey and Carleigh, thank you so much for coming in today and sharing all that information.
Thank you so much for having us.
Of course. Thank you, guys. And that'll do it for In the Community this week. If you are a nonprofit and need to bring attention to your cause or organization, please reach out through this station's website, and we will see you next week.